Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is MotorWeek. First, we'll push the limits in the latest Porsche Panamera GTS. Then throwback to a group of luxury sedans from the 90s. Greg Carlos slides into a tire-slaying, over-the-edge home plate, while we slide behind the wheel of the latest Hyundai Palisade. To come drive with us, next.
MotorWeek, 45 years steering you in the right direction.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
Time definitely flies when you're having fun in a Porsche. And believe it or not, this Panamera sports sedan is now in its 3rd generation. Officially, Porsche says that GTS stands for Gran Turismo Sport, but most of us have come to know it as the middle ground where performance, practicality, and pricing come into perfect balance. So let's hit the track and see if that's still the case. Whether you're talking about the ratio of luxury design to sporty performance or the application of power around a racetrack, sports sedans are all about balance. And that just happens to be the specialty of this Porsche Panamera GTS. It's a lot of car to hustle through the 9 corners of Roebling Road Raceway near Savannah, Georgia, but the GTS seemed to do it with the deftness of a car half its size. In this electrified era, we've driven sports sedans with twice as much power as the Panamera GTS, but that doesn't mean they were any more capable, as the GTS's composure, responsiveness, and yes, balance make it a joy to speed around a road course. And despite its size and weight, braking performance never diminished throughout multiple days of track time. The Panamera's standard air suspension has been retuned for the GTS, lowering it by about ½ an inch. The anti-roll bars have been reinforced, and an upgraded torque vectoring differential shuffles power around to all 4 wheels, where it can be most effectively applied. Throw in optional rear axle steering, and you get the total package that makes the GTS the best handling Panamera. All of this has also made the ride noticeably firmer too, but it's nothing outside of the norm for a true sports sedan. Beneath the sheet metal lies the 8-cylinder heart of the beast. This twin-turbo 4-liter has been around for a while, available in multiple brands throughout the Volkswagen Group. Each deployment is unique and it's often updated, which is the case here. The 493 horsepower and 486 pound-feet of torque, an upgrade of 20 horsepower and 29 pound-feet over the last Panamera GTS. From there, spent gases get blasted through a great-sounding sport exhaust system, while power heads to an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. While not quite 911 spec, that transmission worked with launch control and fantastic grip from wide Pirelli P0R tires to deliver strong launches to 60 in just 3.2 seconds. After squatting and pouncing off the line, it seemed to hold that nose-up posture throughout the quarter mile, but it never wavered, tracking arrows straight the whole way and finishing in 11.8 seconds at 116 miles per hour. All sounding absolutely fantastic. Transmission shifts were definitely felt, but again, not to the point of upsetting the process in any way. Porsche has certainly had some memorable GTSs over the years, but the one that comes to mind is 1993's 928 GTS. Refinement was the buzzword throughout our test, though we seemed mostly concerned with letting everyone know that the 928 was not just some long-haul coupe for pampered playboys. That sentiment holds true throughout the Porsche lineup to this day, and the fact that Porsche was able to take the same basic shape of the 911 and turn it into a great-looking sedan was a major accomplishment when the Panamera debuted, and it's only gotten better since. The GTS includes black trim and logos, a unique front fascia, 21-inch center-lock wheels, and an active rear spoiler that spreads its wings as it deploys. Red brake calipers are also a part of the package, though these black binders signify you've upgraded to the optional ceramic composites. Inside, there's lots of Racetex material in basic black or in themes like carmine red or slate gray, plus available leather options such as this black and Bordeaux red combo. And if you'd never actually driven it, you'd say this Panamera GTS is designed to pamper more than perform around a racetrack. Bose audio and the Sport Chrono package are included, and not too many cars with this amount of performance come with a back seat capable of hauling a pair of adults in comfort. Government fuel economy ratings are 16 city, 24 highway, and 18 combined, for a slightly worse than average energy impact score, using 16.5 barrels of oil annually with CO2 emissions of 8.2 tons. GTS pricing starts at $169,250. Cars that offer high performance with the ability to effortlessly take the family along for the thrill ride are few and far between. The Porsche Panamera GTS excels as a sports sedan without overlooking the tech and amenities buyers of six-figure sedans are looking for. All told, it's those kinds of balances in design that make the Panamera GTS so incredibly desirable. 10 years ago, we slid over the edge for a small grassroots event at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Well, that spontaneous winter get-together has now turned into an annual hot ticket festival. So in the spirit of our own anniversary season, Greg Carlos now reconnects with the much bigger and much smokier Drifters of December.
We're back at Summit Point Motorsports Park. This here is Evan. We're in his E36, and we're gonna do some drifting. Why don't you come along with us? Here in West Virginia, drifting is not a year-round activity, at least not in any kind of official capacity. So Drifters of December is basically one last hurrah before the off-season. As you can imagine, it's full send. When we last brought our cameras to this event a decade ago, it was technically called 100 Drifters of December. Turns out inflation hit the drifting world too, because 2025 saw over 400 drifters, which means Summit Point had to open all its circuits and skid pads to accommodate them all, which is great. But the event's founders never set out to create one of the biggest drift events on the East Coast.
This was about bringing in people who didn't have the top dollar. Now, a lot of these cars are pretty pricey, but that wasn't the main focus. It was just getting people in the bottom rung, giving them some skid pad time, know how to correct it, oversteer, or control it. So it was pretty grassroots. It was also an antithesis to the pro drifting world.
And I still see the same vibe coming back here 16 years later. It makes me happy. I'm really proud of you guys. I hope you guys have a great event.
After the ceremonial parade lap, the tracks go hot, and it's basically choose your adventure from there. Are you new to drifting or need a quick warm-up? Head over to Washington Circuit. Looking for something more technical? You'll find it over on Shenandoah. Want to hit some high-speed drifts? Get in line at Summit, Maine. Drive till your tires melt, then mount some fresh ones and drive some more.
I'd say it's probably the best event I've ever been to, hands down. Endless seat time, small tracks, big tracks. My favorite one is the Pistol Grip over on Shenandoah, I believe it. This is a fresh build, so I'm just trying to feel it out and make sure the car is good, make sure I'm good, and then go send it, you know, have some fun.
This is the Ebisu of America. This is a massive amount of tracks, massive amount of options, massive amount of skill sets, broad range. Like, it is the most spectrum of drifting that you can experience in America. And I think I'm gonna hang out on Maine. Maine's basically the fastest track here. It's got the fastest moving grid, so I can get as many laps during the day as possible. So last year this thing was underpowered, so now I'm working on a lot of the big tracks that I couldn't drive like full speed last year. So I'm really just working on, you know, getting familiar with everything. I'm working on doing backward entries at Maine. So we got one successful-ish one. We're gonna try it again after this.
Naturally, I had to go along for that ride. The sensory blitz inside the car is intoxicating, but taking it all in as a spectator is just as satisfying. And when the clouds broke during the day's final laps, unleashing a vibrant winter sunset, it was downright breathtaking. A perfect metaphor for drifters of December. The big, beautiful, smoky exclamation point on another 12-month donut around the sun.
The Eclipse and its siblings, the Plymouth Laser and Eagle Talon, are cars that we've liked from the moment we first drove them last year. We like them for their form, slick modern sport coupes that stand out from the rest of the fast car crowd. We like their concept. They're all built by Diamond Star, a joint venture between Mitsubishi and Chrysler, with headquarters and factory in Normal, Illinois. The Eclipse GSX uses its 195 horsepower turbocharged four-cylinder to blast to 60 and beyond in 6.9 seconds. Be careful through 9. It's a full throttle late apex corner, and the Eclipse's overboosted power steering can make it a little tough to tell exactly what the front end is doing. Then it's back onto the straight and snap fifth gear as the turbo hauls you briskly across the start-finish line. You know, our 45th season has been filled with fun look-backs in time, but we also need to keep looking ahead. So here's an all-new Quick Spin.
How poignant it is that Honda would revive the Prelude for 2026 during MotorWeek's 45th season. Last seen in 2001, this 2+2 coupe is back for a 6th generation. And a first drive in Oceanside, California revealed what's new and what's stayed the same. It looks like no preceding Prelude, breaking the more conservative style guide Honda's 2020s offerings have largely followed. The front is edgy, the side profile is flowing, and the light bar beneath the rear liftgate is giving Porsche vibes. But underneath the sheet metal, it's all Honda, borrowing from the Civic family in different ways. First, Honda is leveraging their latest hybrid powertrain from the Civic Hybrid. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder complemented by 2 electric motors. No auto or manual transmission, it's a direct drive system with a nifty trick.
So the Prelude also comes with this new S Plus shift mode. And essentially, because we don't have a transmission here, it's going to simulate some shifting while we are on some of these more curvy canyon roads. As you can hear, it automatically has been downshifting for me, but I do have paddle shifters if I want to shift on my own.
The Prelude also takes from the hot hatch Civic Type R, dual pinion power steering, 4-piston Brembo brakes, and adaptive dampers, the latter tuned for this exact application.
Ooh. There's a lot of grip here. Big thanks to a lot of these upgrades from the Type R, like the suspension. That's really nice. And listen, 200 horsepower is more than enough power, but fortunately with the hybrid system, we get over 230 pound-feet of torque, and that's truly where the difference lies.
The 2026 Honda Prelude comes as one well-equipped trim, starting at $43,195. We'll give it a full road test rundown and bring you more quick spins soon.
The standards of luxury are relative to the times. Just think about today's high rollers when you watch this fan favorite luxury sedan comparison test from 1992, and you'll see what I mean.
In alphabetical order, our attention first turns to Germany and the Audi V8. The Audi V8 was among the first to use a sprig of real wood running the width of the dash. It is a welcomed visual relief to an otherwise all-business interior. Power was then and remains from an all-aluminum 32-valve V8 that now delivers 276 horsepower. Delivery, however, is through all four wheels. Next up for your inspection, the BMW 740i. The long, powerful hood, however, remains the perfect shape to cover this new 4-liter 32-valve V8. Inside, BMW's penchant for up-to-date safety is clothed in a Teutonic mixture of fine wood and taut leather. Heated front seats are an option we like, and the Freon-free climate control system has separate temperature settings for the two in the front. In only its second year, the Cadillac STS may be unchanged to the eye, but not to the senses. Under its distinctive sheet metal lies Cadillac's long-awaited North Star 32-valve V8. The interior of the STS borrows some of its wood and leather styling from Audi, but it is decidedly more luxurious. The first Japanese luxury import we'll consider is the Infiniti Q45. This 4.5-liter 32-valve V8 exudes 278 horsepower in a manner that is more at home in a muscle car. Inside, the Q45 is a most serious car with minimal bright work, mostly from the analog clock, and no wood. It's been 4 years since Lexus put the luxury car world on its ear with the LS400. Power resonates from a silky smooth 4-liter V8. There is less wood on the LS400's instrument panel than on some others, but the interior is still luxurious as well as roomy. Finally, from Mercedes-Benz, the car that has been called their Lexus fighter, the 400e. What is much newer, of course, is the 32-valve 4.2-liter V8. Despite a dated feel, you know this is a Mercedes-Benz and that everything is in its place and works flawlessly. We hear rumors that the V8 luxury sedan is an endangered species, but then we heard those same rumors 20 years ago. There will probably always be room in the automotive world for exceptional combinations of performance and luxury. Today, these 6 cars have taken all the space that's available.
Our cosmic black Acura ZDX is speeding through its 3rd month with us, racking up 5,500 miles along the way. We're definitely enjoying the Type S's 499 horsepower, both off the line and out of corners. And Acura seemed to know that would be the case, proactively tweaking the suspension and heightening steering response to handle that power. Brembo brakes are also there to help when we get a little too enthusiastic. And while we've come to actually like introducing a little range anxiety into our lives every now and then, the Type S's 278 miles has been plenty, and charging has been drama-free. Getting around town, we're impressed with the smoothness of both the powertrain and the suspension in low-speed driving. But the more we have to maneuver in tight spaces, the more we've become aware of just how big the hood appears from the driver's seat. So we're still getting used to that in parking lots. But everything else about the ZDX has us feeling plenty comfortable. We'll catch up with our Porsche Cayenne on the next MotorWeek long-term road test update.
In 2020, Hyundai went bigger than they'd ever gone before with the Palisade 3-row crossover. And to say it was a big hit would be an understatement. Now they're looking to keep the good times rolling with a new second-gen Palisade while injecting some new possibilities like this XRT Pro into the conversation. The 3-row Hyundai Palisade impressed just about everyone when it arrived, so following that up with this second generation is surely a tall task. But the 2026 Palisade is indeed tall, as well as larger overall, and aims to deliver the same things that made their first design so successful, while increasing refinement and even adding new ingredients into the mix. That starts with a first-time available hybrid system. It's a new 2.5-liter i4-based system with 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. While optional on most Palisades, that doesn't include their other big addition, this first Palisade XRT Pro. XRT signals Hyundai's batch of off-road style upgrades that first appeared on 22 Santa Fe. But with the new Palisade, Hyundai is taking things a little more seriously by adding some actual off-road spec hardware for a new XRT Pro model. With standard H-Track all-wheel drive, XRT Pro adds an electronic limited-slip rear differential. It rolls on 18-inch all-terrain tires, expands terrain modes with mud, sand, and snow settings, while upping ground clearance by an inch. There's also a surround view monitor with forward ground view to help you see what you can't see, plus real-time pitch and roll displays and red recovery hooks front and rear. As for power, XRT Pro shares the same V6 engine that is standard on the rest of the Palisade lineup. It's a new V6, now displacing 3.5 liters down from last gen's 3.8 liters. Horsepower is also down from 291 to 287, while torque dips from 262 to 260 pound-feet, both quite a bit less than the hybrid. A bigger vehicle with less power doesn't exactly signal good things when heading to our Mason-Dixon test track. Throw in the XRT Pro's off-pavement focus, and it's no surprise it was a sluggish romp to 60 of 8.3 seconds, almost a full second slower than the last Palisade we tested. Sounds from the engine bay indicated everything was working very hard to move this rig down the track. Its job made harder by transmission shifts in the 8-speed automatic that prioritize smoothness over quickness. But all told, a 16.3-second quarter mile at 88 miles per hour for a family truckster is more than adequate. In our handling course, there was a lot of body roll and understeer, but Sport Mode did tighten things up a bit and definitely provided more feedback through the steering wheel. When panic braking, stops were very aggressive with lots of nosedive and sounds of ABS laboring hard. But no complaints about the results, just 103 feet from 60 miles per hour. Even in this XRT Pro, Hyundai's focus on NVH improvement is readily noticeable, thanks to additional sound deadening materials, wider application of sound-absorbing carpet, and using thicker glass. Add in suspension updates that include a new self-leveling rear that helps give it much better composure on rough roads, and the Palisade inches further into luxury territory. That's certainly the vibe of the Palisade's interior, with 12.3-inch touchscreen with navigation standard, along with more soft-touch materials than before. Most trims come equipped with second-row captain's chairs and 7-passenger seating. But the base SE comes equipped with a second-row bench, and it's an option with SELs. Third-row access has improved, and cargo capacity has increased, with 19.1 cubic feet behind the third row, 46.3 behind the second, and a max of 86.7. With buyers clamoring for hybrids, they'll be pleased with government fuel economy ratings as high as 33 city, 35 highway, and 34 combined. Our V6 XRT Pro is more traditional for a large ute at 16 city, 22 highway, and 19 combined. The Palisade is one of the few remaining Hyundais that's not built here in the U.S., but pricing remains a segment bargain starting at $41,035. XRT Pro comes in well under top calligraphy at $51,470. Hybrids add a $2,200 premium over the V6. It's hard to follow up a runaway hit as big as the original Palisade, so it's understandable that the 2026 Hyundai Palisade is not quite the game changer it was. Still, Hyundai is giving it a go with more refinement, a perfectly timed hybrid, and more features across the board. Enough to win our 2026 Driver's Choice Award for Best Large Utility. So the new Palisade is clearly a better Palisade. and thus a better bargain than ever.
Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for more MotorWeek, including daily news updates, podcasts, and even complete episodes, cruise on over to pbs.org/MotorWeek. And I hope you'll join us next time
when we CC you on a CS track test, the BMW M2 CS. Then join the crew for a hands-on look at the new Subaru Outback.
Till next time, I'm John Davis. We'll see you right here on MotorWeek.
To learn more about MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine, visit pbs.org/MotorWeek.
The MotorWeek app, which includes our latest reviews and feature stories, is now available for mobile devices.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
This program was produced by Maryland Public Television, which is solely responsible for its content.